if you're a public company or an institutional investor and you just want to like buy something and hold it for 10 years or 100 years and not worry, the safe harbor is digital property on the Bitcoin network is a store of value. I mean, you stay in your lane, right? Right. For example, even in China, where they cracked down on Bitcoin mining and they cracked down on crypto trading, it's not illegal to own Bitcoin. It's not illegal to own it. It's illegal to send it to your buddy around the world. And you know what else is illegal? It's illegal to send money out of China, right? China has capital controls. If you're an individual, you can't carry more than $50,000 worth of capital outside of China. It's a capital control thing, right? I mean, so in a country where you have no property rights, you're not allowed to own any property, maybe Cuba, North Korea. If it's against the law to own anything, it'll be a problem to own Bitcoin. But if you can own things, then the property will be subject to property transfer tax and property capital gains tax, and then trading. And it happens that in the Western world, we have capital that kind of freely moves between the US and Western Europe. So Bitcoin freely moving is not a problem. China doesn't allow capital to move. And then if you look at like Argentina and countries that have collapsing currencies, like if I had $1 million in Argentina, I couldn't just wire it out of the country tomorrow. Like they have capital controls. So there's going to be this little friction over capital controls with weak currencies because the governments are printing more currency and their currency is collapsing against the dollar. So the way I look at it is, you know, figure out what you're doing here. Are you trying to be an exchange? Are you trying to be a bank? Are you trying to be a security token? Are you trying to be DeFi? Or are you just choosing Bitcoin versus gold versus a stock index versus putting money in a second? You know, you're an individual. You're going to buy a second house as an investment property to save your family's wealth and Airbnb it. People do. I mean, it's an idea. I mean, but the problem is you have a second house and maybe the renters trash it and maybe you can't Airbnb it and maybe it gets struck by lightning, right? And maybe there's a property tax. In Miami, there's 2% property tax on anything. So if you buy $1 million thing, you're going to pay $20,000 a year every year of your life. And then they're going to assess it up. So when they tell you the thing's worth $2 million, you're going to pay $40,000 a year. So when you understand it as property, and then you figure out what kind of property you want to own, and then where politically, what jurisdiction you're in, then you can kind of figure it out. I think that in the Western world, we've actually got a lot of support for Bitcoin as property. And I think that in the last 12 months, you know, when all these bank heads, when Jerome Powell said it's an asset, when Gary Gensler said it's an asset, when the senators and the Congress people said it's an asset, we want to protect it. When you start to see that, and you see institutions acquiring it, and you saw the SEC approve the futures ETF, it's like, if they didn't want you to be able to own the asset, you wouldn't be able to buy the ETF on a regulated exchange, right? So I think that there's comfort there. I just think if you're a crypto entrepreneur, then there's uncertainty. But just separate. Are you an entrepreneur, or you're either an investor or you're a saver or you're a speculator. If you're a speculator, buy Shibcoin 4. Bow wow, right? Or buy Sailor Moon coin, right? If you're an investor, choose between Apple and Coinbase, you know, and a crypto exchange or whatever, and then try to parse through all the regulatory issues. If you're a saver and you have pesos, convert them to dollars. That's a stronger asset. And if you have dollars, convert that to Bitcoin. That's a stronger asset. But you see, you're not betting on a company or a product, right? Wherever I am in the civilization, if it's illegal to own Bitcoin in a country, but it's legal to own the dollar, and I'm holding the bolivar, I'm swapping to the dollar, right? And if it's legal, I'm swapping to Bitcoin. And at some point, if you're in Zimbabwe and the currency is going to zero and your family's going to starve to death, even if it's illegal to own the Bitcoin, I'm probably still owning the Bitcoin, right? I mean, at some point, if your choice is starve to death or own something in the gray market or the black market, it's, you gotta do the right thing for your family. So that's why I look at that. Luckily, you don't have to make those decisions in the United States, right?
Is there
property
anything
rights here?
Are there things that have shaken your certainty and confidence in the past year or two? Or is there anything that you feel could shake that certainty in Bitcoin, or no, because of what you know and what you've researched?
I think look, Bitcoin was trading 3,500 a coin, like Black Thursday or whatever, in March of 2020. And now it's 60,000 and some change, right? So I think that the world's gotten more confident. The price reflects the confidence. Everything that's happened since I started buying Bitcoin has been bullish for the asset class. I bought it personally. MicroStrategy bought it. MicroStrategy bought some more. We issued debt to buy more. We issued equity to buy more. We issued junk bonds to buy more. Square bought more. PayPal supported it. Square supported it. Tesla bought more. Congressman supported it. Cynthia Lummis says, thank God for Bitcoin, right? Senators supported it. The governor of Texas supported it. The mayor of Miami supported it. 12 companies came public as Bitcoin miners. Yesterday, one Bitcoin miner priced a $650 million convertible bond. First time you ever seen that. Other Bitcoin miners selling hundreds of millions of dollars of stock, right? So a lot of bullish things happening. An ETF got approved. A second ETF got approved. A third ETF got approved. All good, right? China cracked down on Bitcoin mining. That was a scare. But Bitcoin's come back roaring better than ever. And as I said, China didn't make Bitcoin illegal. They just want to control their capital flows, right? The crackdown on Bitcoin mining was a mistake. It'll cost them $1 trillion. But countries make mistakes, right? I mean, people do irrational things. The world is full of examples of one country does an intelligent thing, another country does an unintelligent thing, right? People that act rationally win. People that act irrationally lose. I just see a string of good things that have happened in the past 12 months. And I can't put my finger on a single, what's the worst thing? China cracked down on Bitcoin mining. What was the result? Hundreds of billions of dollars of capital flow to the US. And Bitcoin became embraced by the Western world. And now people say, what is the Western world? The Western world is the US dollar, the English language, American law, Western values, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and Bitcoin. Sounds pretty good to me.